Hi everyone. Let's talk about a little particular movie. But first, a little bit of background. The 1980s was a dark time for more kid-centered movies. In fact, there are a number of movies that, while aimed at a more younger audience, were definitely terrifying and scary. You probably know which movies I'm talking about. Point is, movies in the 1980s, even the more kid-friendly ones, had a lot of guts and balls to go to dark, scary places. So much so that Disney tried to do a little something like that themselves back during this time period. Now, there was a series of books that Disney optioned to turn into at least one movie back in 1971, with pre production work beginning in 1973. However, the process and animation took so long that it was not released until 1985. That is literally over a decade in development. That took a long time. And because of that, the reason it took so long is mainly due to animation issues and the process. And this movie is called The Black Cauldron, which focused on a young male protagonist trying to take down an evil king by seeking out the Black Cauldron, which has the ability to bring people back from the dead as reanimated corpses, zombies, things. It was a dark movie for sure. In fact, you could probably look up some concept work that didn't make it into the film, including some drawings created by young Tim Burton at the time. And there was some footage for the film that would have been actually pretty scary to see in a Disney film. Of course, that particular footage got cut out of the theatrical movie, and as far as I know, there is no actual footage of that actual cut footage anywhere. Anyway, this movie, all in all, ended up being $44 million to make, and at the time, that was the most expensive animated movie of all time. And so, when it finally did release in 1985, you know what happened? It ended up ultimately grossing $21.3 million domestically. Yeah, even if you go with the budget officially stated by Disney executives, they only cost 25 million. It still did not make its money back at all. In fact, in its opening weekend, it lost to the Care Bears movie, which had already been out for several months. Think about that. A animated Disney film, one of the greatest studios ever, a kind of film that they specialize and take pride in, animation, lost to a Care Bears movie. That's bad. And the fact that a lot and that is the reason it's called the saddest day in Disney history. And it's the reason the movie has become known as the movie that almost killed Disney, meaning that it put the animation department in some serious jeopardy and trouble. If it wasn't for the Disney Renaissance, which got kicked out for The Little Mermaid a few years later and followed up by films like Aladdin, Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast, I think I might actually would have killed the animation studio. So, why did it fail so badly? Well, since I was not alive at the time, I had to do a little bit of research. Apparently, even though this was a Disney film, it was kind of hard to find it in some film theater locations. So maybe a lack of accessibility is probably part of the reason why. So I ended up checking out the film myself to see if there's anything in the film that would have indicated this huge failure. And I have some notes. First of all, there are some positives about this film. The backgrounds are amazing to look at. Is a lot of great atmosphere and a dark aura about it, and it can get a little creepy at certain times. So, in some respects, it is impressive to see Disney going as dark as they did. However, considering the footage and concept art that was rejected, it does show that they really weren't committing all the way. I mean, they started heading off in the right dark direction, but they're still Disney, so they can only do so much. But so the stuff that did make it in is a little impressive, sure. But I think the real failure of this movie rests with its story and characters. The characters are bland, stupid, and really annoying. Oh, relax, you're not annoying. I'm talking about the Black Cauldron. Calm down. And there are a lot of tropes and cliches in this movie, which aren't bad in of themselves, but they have no particular unique spin or twist on them to make it unique to this movie. But I will give it a little bit of a leeway because this did get its start in the 1970s, even though it ended up being released in 1985. So it is a bit of an older film, so it gets a little bit of a pass. But I think even back then, it was kind of on the lazy front in terms of characters and story. So, do I understand why this film failed? Yeah. Did it deserve to fail as badly as it did? No, especially not to a Care Bears movie. I mean, my god. But I figured I just wanted to bring your guys' attention to the fact that Disney was, at least at one point in their life, pretty vulnerable. Actually, there have been multiple times in Disney's history where they've been pretty vulnerable. But it's nice to get a reminder that even though Disney is really super powerful today, they've had their very weak moments and they can make mistakes. In case you haven't seen some of their movies released in the last few years. But it's okay because they made money. Anyway, just wanted to shine a little bit of a spotlight on this film. So that's all I really have to say. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and see you guys next time.